stand our ground. We know you're trying to open the gates of hell, but we won't back down. So yes, we'll stand our ground. We won't be pushed around. We must keep you from putting our kids in the ground, so we can't stand down. No, we won't back down. We won't back down, baby. There ain't no easy way out. We can't stand down, brother. So we'll stand our ground. And no, we won't back down. 'Cause we know what's right. And we got plenty of fight. And if you think you're gonna keep pushing us around, well, you'll lose that crown. 'Cause we won't back down. We won't back down, baby. There ain't no easy way out. We can't back down, brother. We've got to stand our ground. And no, we won't back down. You know, it's pretty clear. If these lunatics think they have the right to strip us of our rights of self-defense, and if they're willing to do that, what else are they willing to do? We won't back down, baby. There ain't no easy way out. We can't back down, brother. No, we won't back down. Back down, baby. There ain't no easy way out. We can't back down, brother. We've got to stand our ground, so we won't back down. No, we won't back down. Virginians, you won't fight this fight alone.
So
Yeah, pointer.
Okay, we are live. Welcome, everybody.
all right. Happy Sunday.
Yes, happy Sunday.
I'm hearing an echo again.
Well, you might see if
No echo.
anybody else is getting an echo.
I was to say no echo on this end for what it's worth.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right, so we have Philip Van Cleve and Bruce Jackson here, and we've got a big agenda tonight. So, Philip, you want to start out with Lobby Day?
Yeah, so Lobby Day is around the corner. It's not going to be very far out now. It's the 16th of January. We have got a big agenda. Last time I went over a lot of what's in there. There's a whole bunch of bills going in, getting rid of a lot of gun control and making other improvements to our legal system here in Virginia. We have a new announcement on this front. We're going to have a truck there that has storage for firearms. So a person will be able to check their gun before they go into the General Assembly or onto Capitol Square. And there will be details on this that'll be in the alert, but basically you'll be able to reserve a slot online. There is a fee for it. We're not running this. VCDL isn't running this, but it's being run by one of our members he's going to have two armed guards there that are licensed armed guards to make sure that everything's secure. There will be a bucket of sand, a barrel of sand that you can unload your gun, point it at that, and then check your gun. And then when you get your gun back, you can load it if you want. Again, aimed at that barrel, which is outside of it. It will be just outside of the truck where these all the storage containers are. each gun and ammo and magazines or a revolver and ammo will have its own little container. You'll have each one. All the containers are numbered. There'll be a form in triplicate that you'll fill it out once and it'll print triplicate. When you show up, they'll give you your copy of the form. And they'll keep a copy for 30 days, and then there's a copy that goes in the box with your gun. But this way, you won't be walking around downtown Richmond. I have to leave your gun at home or leave it in the car. You can have it close. And this will be apparently very close to the General Assembly building. So there'll be more details on that coming up. But I thought that was interesting. I'll definitely be one of the customers myself for that. And we're stuck with the no guns thing because they made it law in 2020. So our hope is that we can get it struck down either in 2023 or more than likely 2024. So for probably at least the next 2 years, this year and 2023 and 2024, we'll probably need this system set up. So if it works effectively, we'll have the same thing again in 2024. And then hopefully by Lobby Day 2025, we won't need it anymore. We'll be back in the old days. But elections have consequences, and we're 4 years of them, and we're still paying the bill on people not voting right in 2019.
Yep. Speaking of getting the bill repealed, we've got the lobby teams that will go around on Lobby Day and visit every single senator and delegate at the General Assembly, and we need 8 more team leads for that. So
I would also venture to add, don't let not being able to carry 100% of the time keep you from going. That is what they want. That is why they instituted this ban. It was directly against the VCDL. So if you don't show up because of that, they've won.
Yeah,
Yep.
not too many groups have laws passed just because of them, but we do.
Yeah, they actually called that the VCDL bill, and it was directly aimed at VCDL, and it was trying to silence us on Lobby Day because we are that effective that they were worried about us being there. So, team leads are very important, and if you want to sign up to be a team lead, you can email your contact information to pat.webb@vcdl.org, and I'll pass it along to Christy Horton. She is she's our team lead coordinator.
Was last year.
Yes, she was last year as well. She did an excellent job. So
A bang-up job, Pat?
a bang-up job, yes.
That's part of being in gun rights. Yeah, Christy's
Yep.
Christy's in the chat.
She is in the chat, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can message her there in the chat, or you can email. Either way.
Yeah, we need to have some more team leads because that way the teams aren't overloaded with having to see a lot of extra delegates and senators. This way, it's a fairly streamlined process if you just have a few more people to do it. Because we got to get VCDL's message into the hands of every single legislator, good or bad, and the teams make that possible, as well as the teams will have the time then to speak to the legislators or their aides and let them know some of our key agenda items. Not everything, and it's a big agenda, but we'll pick on the key things that we want overturned, and that will obviously on the top will be to do something about local gun control.
Yep. Yeah, it's really important to show up for Lobby Day, and you can either join a team or you can come a little later in the day and make appointments with your senator and delegate and have face-to-face meetings with them.
I think you're going to want to be there at 11. That's when the rally starts. So Lobby Day goes on during the day, from 8 to 4. But at 11 o'clock is our rally. And that's where we got speakers lined up to come address the crowd. and get everybody worked up as we head into the fight for our rights and fight for all the people that didn't show up. We have to carry a lot of dead weight with this, but we got to do what we got to do to protect the rights of the state of all the great people that live in it.
Yep, we do. And there'll be people coming from out of town as well. And so the night before, we have a dinner um, at the Hibachi Sushi and Supreme Buffet. The address is on the screen, 8087 West Broad Street in Henrico. It's just a few miles from the General Assembly building. And they have all kinds of food, fried chicken and everything. So they have something for everyone there.
Yeah,
And what
We posted it there.
and what date
Go
is
ahead.
Lobby Day, folks?
January 16th.
Amazingly enough, Martin Luther King Day. What a coincidence.
And
Yes.
yeah, we've had that same odd coincidence for years now, and of course, so that means our Lobby Day dinner is that Sunday, January 15th.
15th, it is.
Yep. So
Yeah.
at 5 p.m. I recall.
Yeah. So 5 p.m. is fine. We generally, people wander in for over a good bit of the evening, but we'll start at 5 p.m. We have a large room down there, and generally there's several people that stop in, senators, delegates, other people that may be speaking at Lobby Day. So
The press.
yeah, the press, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it's always a good time. And there'll be something coming out in the VA alert about that on how to RSVP, because we try to give them a heads up about how many people are coming. So watch your VA alerts for that.
Yeah.
Good food, good fun. It's a great start. Great start for the day, guys.
Yeah, and things are getting ready to start moving. The roller coaster is climbing that first hill, getting ready to start rolling here as Lobby Day approaches. I've already begun to put together the document that we'll be handing out on Lobby Day that describes all of the gun bills. Now they're not all out there. There's only like 5 gun bills. I haven't seen any anti-gun yet showing up. I know there's a bunch of them coming. They haven't showed up yet, but they're on their way. Usually you get a trickle of things before January. And then once January hits, that's when the floodgates really open and bills start dropping like mad. So for now, I'm literally glancing over every bill coming in, whether it's gun or not, trying to make sure I catch all the gun bills. I've also got a search algorithm I use to look for gun bills, make sure I don't miss any. But
Hey,
we've got like 5, including constitutional carries already been introduced now. Yep.
Philip, can you go over the just based on the gun bills, the gun laws that got passed and the rules by Richmond and everything else? Can you do like a quick overview on what people can expect, what has changed for this Lobby Day as far as carrying in Richmond and the Capitol grounds and the buildings and just the whole thing?
Well, yeah, because we haven't been there for a while. We had COVID, basically made us do a drive-through back in 2021, and in 2022, it still had COVID around, so it was still kind of tricky. But basically, it's a gun-free zone in Capitol Square, the fenced-in area that's Capitol Square, in the Capitol building, and in the General Assembly building, which is still, this year, everybody was hoping they would go to their new building, the brand new General Assembly building. But because of apparently COVID and supply problems, they didn't complete far enough in time. So we're stuck in the Pocahontas building again. So this is where we were earlier this year in the 2022 session started. And so there's a limitation on like a few thousand people in the building. So we'll probably be doing something similar to what we did early this year in 2022, where people will show up, line up to get in, and people can be coming, I'd say, all day long. If you can't get there to be on a team, then you can lobby individually and then leave the building. That they'll be controlling, and once the building fills up, then as people leave, then more people will be allowed in. I just don't know what to expect as to how many people will be there, not only from our group but from other groups. We're not the only one that uses that day, MLK Day, for lobby day. However, we are by far the largest group that uses it. Nobody even comes close to matching us in size up there.
40 or 50,000 of your closest friends.
Yes, my neighbors. So that so basically, yeah, it's a gun-free zone, and we're working on that, and that's why you got to show up. That's the interesting thing is if people did chicken out because I can't carry a gun there, well then we're never going to get rid of this. The only way we're going to get rid of it is by showing up and saying whether you ban our guns or not, you're going to listen to us, and we're going to be there explaining why we need to fix these gun laws. And again, I think it's going to be a very interesting year. Let's not forget about the Bruin ruling. That's a powerful ruling, and I plan to be using the heck out of that. So that's to try and get some stuff done. The courts have spoken, and what we can't get done, then we can also do lawsuits, which we already got some of those going, and they're going well across the country. These lawsuits using Bruin to take down laws, it's striking things down around the country, even in California. So and New York is and New Jersey, it's out there, it's powerful. So a lot of reason to be optimistic. It's not a magic talisman, but it's good. We'll use it thoroughly, but we need people there. We need to make sure the General Assembly understands that now 2 years after this big 2020 rally, we're still here, and we're still watching, and we still want some stuff done. And those elections next year, 1 year from now, we'll have a brand new General Assembly. And boy, I pray that we've got the right people in power. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be up to you guys and your neighbors and friends to make sure that happens.
Get your friends to vote. Get your neighbors to vote. Vote early. Vote often.
Yep.
By the way, just a quick one on the bills. So Delegate Marie March from out in the western part of Virginia has got a constitutional carry bill. She's got a bill to repeal the red flag, which is also called substantial risk orders. She's got a bill that allows a person who's got a concealed handgun permit to store their handguns in their car or vehicle while in a public parking lot on private property. So let's say there was a mall that said no guns. With this, as long as you have a permit, you can leave the gun in your car. They can't tell you no guns, not even in the parking lot in your car. That would fix it. Illinois' got this, for crying out loud. Everywhere in Illinois you go, even if it's a gun-free zone, they allow you to leave your loaded gun. Didn't have to unload it like we do in Virginia because of our school zone law. You leave a loaded gun in your car, locked in the car. It doesn't have to be locked in the car. Just out of sight and locked is all they require. And Illinois doesn't do a lot right, but they did that right. And this is in that same direction. And finally, the only other bill that's come in as of Friday so far, there's a bunch coming. This one, Delegate Brewer is putting in a bill, guess what, to repeal the gun ban for permit holders in the General Assembly building, Capitol Square, the Capitol building, rest stops, and things of that nature. So there is a bill to do that already. But again, we need to be there to push all this through.
Yep, that would be awesome. So, Philip, you had an announcement to make tonight about a special program.
Yes. Something that VCDL has dabbled in for years, but never really had a formal program together, dealt with reaching out to college-age students to get them involved in the gun right movement and understanding their rights when it comes to the Second Amendment, understanding how the General Assembly and laws work, things of that nature. So to that end, we've actually now formally put together a part of a committee, if you will, in the organization that will be out there doing just that. It will be out there addressing college students, organizing them, and so forth. So this is sort of the future. We've got to reach out and get a lot of these young minds unprogrammed so that they understand their rights that they've been lied to all the years that they've been in school, as well as get them active in the procedure, in the whole concept of lawmaking and so forth, even running for office. It's going to cover a lot of things. So we have how do you want to do this, Pat?
Well, Britton's here with us again. We lost her for a second there, but she's back
That's why I
now.
was confused. I didn't know where you were. Yeah, I'm going to let Britton talk a little bit. Britton is going to head up this part of the organization, and she's got an incredible helper that's going to help pull all of this together. So, Britton, talk a little bit about the program.
So yeah, great. So I'm really excited to speak on our launch of VCDL University, which will be open to high school and college students. It has 3 components of the program: education, internships, and activism. And with education, we're going to look at history of firearm instruction, safety, concealed carry, and of course, range time. And then we'll be having internship opportunities, and we'll also be focusing heavily on activism after the primary, which will include training and employment. And with that, I am going to turn it to engagement manager.
So we kind of lost you there for a second, but Al Evans is our student engagement manager, and he's going to talk a little bit about the program as well.
That's right. So VCDL-U is, like they were saying, the youth arm of VCDL. So what we're focused on doing is making a coalition of different youth groups, both college, high school, and different community groups throughout the state, of young people, so that we can, one, have activists, for example, for Lobby Day, but also for other events and other, and really just growing the movement as a whole. So we'll be doing that all over the state. Some of the things that we're going to be doing, like Britton was talking about already, really talking about the history of the Second Amendment, why we have the Second Amendment in the first place, some of the reasons why the Founding Fathers felt like it was so important that it needed to be enumerated in the Bill of Rights. And just the evolution of it throughout the U.S. history and why we need it. As well, we're really going to be focused on how the individual, the citizen, can actually impact legislative decisions. One thing that I've definitely noticed, and I know Philip has noticed as well, there's really a deficit of good civics education throughout the state right now. And that's something that we also want to really focus on at VCDL-U. So we're having our first big kickoff event at the Virginia Christian Alliance, which is at 8659 Staples Mill Road in Henrico, Virginia, on December 21st. It's going on from 9 to 1, and we hope to see you there. We'll have Britton, Philip, and myself will also be there to elaborate for any other things, and we hope that we'll see you there.
Okay, so so we hopefully will we'll get this thing rolling. I mean, we're putting a real commitment. There's a serious commitment to this, and I think it's been a long time coming. And I don't know that anybody else is going to be putting in this level of commitment. So yeah, I'm excited too. This will open up whole new avenues that need to be open. This is going to be it's a forever battle. The gun rights are a forever battle. It's never going to end. So the young generation now will be looking to the younger generation as they get older to keep protecting our rights.
Yeah. So, part of the concept here is that colleges typically will not give an accurate depiction of the Second Amendment, and especially in the context of how it applies today, which is really no different from how it applied when it was first ratified. Also, um, people tend to, um, I don't know, they're afraid of things that they don't know about. So the more educated you are on a given subject, the less scary it is. So, and it also helps to perpetuate safety with firearms. That when you know how to safely handle them, you know how they operate, and that sort of thing. So
Well,
there's a
and
number of aspects in this.
sure, and going to the range, having a range day, that's something else that we plan on having.
Mhm.
Some range days for the students to go out and actually have instructors there and fire their first shots. Or if there's been a long time since they shot, to have another opportunity. We all
Yeah,
know that shows, well, again, it will change a lot of people's attitudes once you fire a gun and understand a little bit more about that aspect of it. That can often get rid of a lot of the stereotypical information that people have in their minds about guns that don't really understand them.
yep. And Britain was saying that this program is for high school and college age students and young adults. It's also for people that are maybe a little bit older that want to get involved in helping to further the education. And we are taking sponsorships of this program. It's such an important program that we want to create the opportunities for other businesses, firearms related businesses, or people that just care about the Second Amendment to get involved financially if they don't have the time to get involved physically. And we'll be holding meetings all around the state for the students to attend and participate. And we're really looking forward to getting this program off the ground.
Yeah, I expect that there will be a lot of businesses and stuff that are going to want to contribute, and I think that's one of the things we'll be seeing, providing funding and so forth. Uh, as the businesses also see the future needing to be protected by starting now with the younger people.
Yep. And we'll be looking for meeting places around the state. So if you're interested in finding out about more about the program, you can visit our website. There's a special page for this, vcdl.org/VCDL-U. You can find out about sponsorship opportunities there. You can find out about joining there. There's a link to actually join as a VCDL-U member on that page. And you can contact the VCDL-U staff at VCDL-U at VCDL.org.
Yeah, if you have any ideas or anything you want to contribute to that thought, to working on this project, sure, feel free to contact them. So
Mm-hmm.
they've got their own website. So Pat gave the URL, so be sure and check that out. And that will be updated as we progress down the road. So this is the first formal announcement of this program. It'll be in an alert as well. So what you're hearing tonight is a lot of stuff that either will be in an alert the next one that comes out, or will be stuff that's happening right now. So we'll be talking about some other items. Do we have anything else on VCDL-U, Pat, or Brittany?
Not unless Britton or Al have anything. Anything else you guys want
I
to say?
just I wanted to add one thing on the kickoff on Wednesday, the 21st. We really encourage any prospective donors to come out. We'll be discussing the internship programs we're offering. We're putting together two great opportunities, one legislative and one for activism, where we'll have an opportunity to be trained on voter registration and voter contact. And this is just a great opportunity for anyone that would like to come out and learn about our program.
Absolutely. And that meeting on Wednesday is from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Is that right?
That's right, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. being hosted by Virginia Christian Alliance, and lunch will be provided.
Yeah, Mission Barbecue, which is pretty good stuff.
Yes.
Well, welcome aboard, guys. Glad to have you.
Yeah. Yeah, we're continuing to expand in all different directions. You got to do it.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and if you want to read more about Alan Britton's background, there's a link on the VCDL-U page where you can read their bios as well. So thank you guys, and we look forward to this excellent program.
Yeah, and Britain certainly has experience in doing a lot of this kind of stuff, reaching out and so forth. So, yep, this is going to be good. Thank you, Al.
She's just climbing the walls to get at it.
Yep.
Yeah, she can turn sideways there for a second.
All right. So, Philip, you wanted to also talk about the Watch Teams for Local Government group and the importance of watching school boards.
Yeah, again, I emphasized this recently, but I can't emphasize it enough. We created the Watch Team for Local Government concept for this very reason, so that we're not caught blindsided by things happening. Because localities now can pass gun control where they couldn't prior to 2020. And the school boards can now ban guns on their property, which they couldn't do prior to 2021. So because they have that power they didn't have before, we've got to keep an eye on that. And I think what's happened in Pennsylvania, and that's a very interesting situation all the way around. On Tuesday, there'll be an opportunity for that. They're going to be meeting and talking in Pennsylvania. The school board's going to be talking about this ban that they just put in place on guns on their property. Rather interesting because they have shared property with the Board of Supervisors, which are very important people in the county. Board of Supervisors holds the purse strings for things like school boards and all kinds of stuff. And the school board did this without consulting with the Board of Supervisors about this gun-free zone. And the gun-free zone applies to a shared room that the Board of Supervisors uses for their meetings. So that's a rather interesting situation because the Board of Supervisors members, a lot of them carry guns. One of them has been threatened many times, and so he carries a gun for self-defense. A lot of them do. They weren't consulted. So now in their own Board of Supervisors meeting, they can't carry. So this is an interesting thing that happened. We've gotten involved. Hopefully a lot of you have called and talked, left messages at least for the school board members, especially if you live out in Pennsylvania. You need to be contacting the school board members and telling them that this is unacceptable and to get rid of that ban. So for those going out there, as it currently stands, you'd have to leave your gun in the car.
Philip, did you want everyone to call or just people that are close or part of that?
People in Pennsylvania are the most important. Yeah, if you're not in Pennsylvania County, it doesn't do as much good as if somebody lives there. It's really important to residents out there. If you've got family out there, friends, business associates, you've got property out there, anything like that, or maybe, well, that's probably the main thing for the school board. They need to be hearing from people that have property, live there, or whatever. But you can also, it wouldn't hurt to contact the Board of Supervisors and let them know how, that you're not happy with what the school board did. I mean, the Board of Supervisors isn't happy right now, but you might want to talk to them too and add fuel to that fire. So, but this is an example. I mean, Pittsylvania, really? That's our biggest county, by the way. But it's a very rural county. So who would have thought, right, that they would be pushing gun control? But I tell you, nowhere is safe. There never is. Sometimes it's for the oddest reason that some of these localities have passed gun control. Something that may not even make sense, or to them made sense. But you can't trust any county to be something you don't have to look at. You got to watch all these guys.
If I'm not mistaken, Pennsylvania County is a sanctuary county.
It is. You're not mistaken. Pennsylvania is a Second Amendment sanctuary. And the Board of Supervisors has lived by that promise, but the school board has not. They're part of that county. That's another point that can be made in this. You know, you are a Second Amendment sanctuary. We, the citizens of Pittsylvania County, expected that our Second Amendment rights would be supported in this county by this county government, from school boards to the board of supervisors to the dog catcher. That would be a point that you can certainly make.
Yep. So we do have a question from a militant that will Virginia ever become a constitutional carry state?
Well, we have, like I mentioned, Marie March has Bill HB 1393 going in. It's a constitutional carry bill. We've been pushing constitutional carry. And let's be clear, Virginia is a constitutional carry state for open carry. If you're not concealing your gun, you don't need a permit or anything to carry that gun. It's just if you conceal it. And that's what we're working on. So we're trying to make it a complete constitutional carry, open or concealed. So,
and to be clear, Virginia has, VCDL has had a constitutional carry bill in every year for, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
We've been doing
and, yeah, and we won't give up until it's passed. So, you know, the restaurant ban took a long time to repeal. There's been other things that we've had to work several years to repeal, and we will not give up. But part of that, getting things like that passed, is showing up for lobby day in force and talking
voting.
And voting, yes.
Yeah, you got to give them something to work with. If you don't have anybody to work with, it's hard to get things done.
Yep.
Yeah.
So guys, if we convert the Senate big time, we give the Republicans a spine, and they have cause to actually do some of the things that we want to get done. A lot of this year is cleaning up the mess that they left us, that the Democrats left us.
Even then, I would not trust the Republicans not to do the stuff that we need done unless we push them, because we've been here before.
Yes.
We need to push them and tell them, you know, if they get in power, we need to let them know that we expect them, and we need to all tell them this, if it's clear. We expect them to start rolling back gun control. We want them to do for us what the Democrats did for the gun control crowd in 2020. We want the reverse if they get in power.
Absolutely.
Gun owners, to their detriment, when they see the GOP get in, they stop pushing.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
bad.
they will stroke hard going against the current upstream to protect their rights when they're threatened, but then as soon as they don't feel the threat, they give up. But if you give up, then there's no reason for the other side to put in good gun legislation and further gun freedoms. So you need to be on it all the time, no matter which party's in power.
Yeah, part of that's just the political process itself. Politicians, in the end, would really prefer to do nothing. That way they don't anger either side. You know, they can keep getting elected because they haven't made their base angry, and they don't have a big push against them because of things that they're angering people that aren't in their base. So, but that means that you cannot count on them just running with the ball. Now, there's some exceptions to the rule, but they are the exceptions. I look at maybe Marie March as somebody who is self-motivated. I mean, that lady is determined to absolutely protect the Second Amendment. Absolutely, that sort of thing. So she's a self-starter, self-motivated. You don't need to push her very hard. Still, she should be hearing from you nonetheless to hear that support for what she's doing. But a lot of them are not self-starters. They want to do what their constituents want, but you've got to be the squeaky wheel. That really makes a difference. And gun owners historically are not squeaky wheels. We were one part of the squeaky wheel in 2020 because they were seriously coming after our rights. That's what Pat was talking about. People wake up then. We need to be awake all the time. We just do.
You've got to give them strength. You've got to give them a spine. I remember one politician, I asked him if he was willing to carry a bill to get a VCDL license plate. We were trying to get that through a couple of years ago, and didn't have enough support for it to go through. But the guy almost cried. I'm in a tough district. Why are you asking me? And it's like, Well, he's no longer there now, so it really didn't matter if the district was, whether he put the bill in or not. So get them to live up to what they should be doing, whether or not it's not about a career for them. It's about doing the right thing.
Yeah, we want to empower the people that will protect our rights. I don't care what letters behind their name. If an R can't protect it, then a D is willing to step forward to do it like they used to in the old days, and that's all fine and dandy. Or an I for independent, or L for libertarian, or whatever. I don't care as long as that person's out there protecting my rights. But you have to stay on top. You have to let them know that that you continue to care about this issue, and not to take you for granted. That's the other problem. It's a two-edged sword. We get a little complacent because we think, well, we got somebody that should be supporting our rights in office, and they get a little complacent saying, well, that's our base. They're there. I don't have to push too hard. Where else are they going to go? And that's the counter attitude that we have to deal with.
And that's what primaries are for.
Yes, that's exactly right, Bruce. The primary is where you can go in and knock out an incumbent with a brand new person that's much better on the issue, because primaries are really, most people don't vote in them. So those that do have tremendous power, and you can take somebody out you would never be able to remove during a regular election.
I don't know. I don't remember the year, but there was a guy named Jack Rollison that was in, and he got primaried by Jeff Frederick because of his stance on guns. Now, of course, when it came out, they said, well, it was because he passed a tax bill or something like that, but it was the gun owners that were up against him and pushed him out. And that was a very successful campaign for us.
It was. Jeff Frederick stepped in and he backed all our gun bills and everything. He was right there. He did the opposite of what Rollison was doing. And Rollison, we're talking Republicans here. So anyhow, that's again, Lobby Day. It's critical. This is a war. This is not a skirmish. This is a long-term battle. And,
Right, and it goes on all year. It's not just on election day or on lobby day. It's a year-long communication and active process. So I'm seeing a whole bunch of nice comments about the VCDL-U program. This is from Facebook, and I can't see who posted it because the Facebook feed didn't give the name, but it says we definitely need this. Right now, groups like Moms Demand Action have a stranglehold on youth engagement to the point that Richmond Public Schools has called for volunteers to join that group on January on their newsletters. So I'm assuming that would mean on Lobby Day. VCDL started Lobby Day a long time ago, 20 plus years ago, and a whole lot of other groups have jumped on the bandwagon, and it has become a day for all kinds of groups. So Violent 79 says, thank you guys for being involved in protecting our gun rights as law-abiding citizens. We also have a comment here that UMW in Fredericksburg has a firearms club, and they held a university-sanctioned CHP class on campus a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we need more of that. That's exactly
Yes.
the kind of thing we need to see more of.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, good. We've got a spammer in there, too.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, we got this spam. Well, time to delete.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully the mods will catch that.
Oh, yeah.
So what else have you got, Philip? Did you want to talk anything about the legislative agenda for the year?
We had on the list to talk about reminding people how the renewal for CHPs goes. And I have chatted with the state police. In an alert earlier, we discussed an issue that some people were having. And let's just start the whole renewal process from scratch. If you renew your concealed handgun permit 90 days before it expires, up to 180 days before it expires, then your new permit is supposed to begin on the day that your old permit expires. So as soon as your old permit expires, you put your new permit in your wallet and you're good to go for another 5 years. That's how it's supposed to work. Now, if you apply and you don't have 90 days, you apply late, maybe only have 60 days, then the new permit's going to begin whenever the judge signs it, which means you could lose a month off of what you paid for from the old permit that's expiring because the new one's going to overlap some of those days. You'll pay for those days twice, but that's the penalty you have for procrastinating on renewing. You've got a whole 6-month window there to get in there and renew. So, well, what's happening occasionally, so when you renew, take a look at your permit. Number one, make sure it is starting on the, if you renewed in that 90 to 180 day window, make sure your new permit is indeed beginning on the date that your old permit expires. That's exactly what they did in Chesterfield here when I renewed. They did it right. But not every location is. And to be honest with you, the way they laid out the concealed handgun permit language on there, the way the General Assembly did, the way the state police implemented it, is confusing. The permit generally says, rather than saying effective date for the start date, it says issued date. And therein starts the confusion. So some clerks have said, well, we're issuing it, that when the judge signs it, it's being issued. He signed it, it's ready to go. But that's not the date they should be using if you didn't renew it in the right time window. So what that should say instead of issue date is effective date. None of this matters for somebody getting a brand new permit because the issue date is the effective date because it's their first permit. It begins whenever the judge signs it and they get it in the mail. That their permit's up and running. But it's the renewal that the General Assembly didn't think through very well and have this language in there that it's not an effective date but an issue date. So look at that. If your issue date overlaps, I've been assured by the state police that your new permit would be honored. But what you should do is keep your old permit and use your old permit until it expires, regardless of what the new permit says. Otherwise, like one gun a month, you're going to get, if you need to use that option, as a permit holder, you're exempt. You need your old permit before it expires to be the one that you use to show that you're doing your one gun a month. So again, summarizing, always use your old permit until it expires, and then put your new permit in your wallet, or you can carry both, but then begin to use your new permit once the old one expires. That's the bottom line of this. And you can always go back and have
hey, Philip,
yeah.
they should check all of the information on their permit when they get it. We've had other issues as well.
Yeah, your date of birth, address,
Everything. So
yeah, they can have typos. I would think it would be less likely on a renewal, but never underestimate the power of a schnook, as they used to say in the cartoons. Okay. Yeah.
So, Brian Dunn's asking about the legislative tracking tool. When will it be live on the website?
Good question. That's a John Pierce question. I'll have to talk to John and see where he is on that. Right now, it doesn't matter. We've only got 4 bills, but yes, we need to get that in place so it starts showing up. Because we've already got 4 bills. I mean, we do have some to start tracking, but I expect there's going to be a bunch this year. I'm sure the gun control crowd is panicking and is going to throw everything but the kitchen sink in there, trying to see if anything will stick.
Yeah, the legislative tracking tool. If you want to talk a little bit about how that works, it's a great tool to keep up with what's going on.
Yeah, it tracks the bill. You can look the legislative tool. You can get up there. You can see every gun bill, be it a good bill or a bad bill. They're clumped according to, or grouped according to whether they are a good bill or a bad bill. You can. There's a link you can click and send an entire committee that the bill is going to be heard in front of a message, and it tracks every step by step, so you can see what committees have heard the bill, what the votes were, if it's been on the floor, what the vote was. whether the bill, if the bill dies, there'll be information about that, and the tracking tool moves it to a different location if the bill's not active. So when you're looking at bills at the top part of the tracker, you're looking at live bills and still in the system. If they've passed or they've been killed, then they're moved to a different category. So
Yeah,
it's a
and
nice system. It really is.
it has links to the specific bills, so you can read the text of the bill. It has links to where it is in the process. Like Philip said, it's sorted by bills we strongly support, bills we're neutral on, bills we oppose, and bills we strongly oppose.
Yeah, there's everything there you need to know to keep track of it. It's good to keep your eye on it. And if you see that, and I try to put in alerts when I can when there's time about committees coming up, so that those of you that have a chance, maybe you're off a particular day or you're retired and you want to be part of the system, you can come out other than lobby day whenever one of our bills is being, or our gun control bill is being heard in committee. You can be there in the crowd. We always bring our Gun Saves Live stickers, so you can be out there so that as the legislators are looking out over the audience, they can see hopefully a sea of Gun Saves Live stickers. They know where you stand, even if you don't want to speak. At least you're there, you're represented. But you also can get a chance to speak and very briefly address whatever bill in front of the General Assembly. That's all
Yeah.
good too. Sometimes
And
what I'll
you
do is
can-
I'll say, anybody that agrees, please stand up. And that's, if you don't want to speak, that's another opportunity to make sure that you're clearly seen.
Yep.
Good.
It's obviously more effective if you're in the room and wearing the Gun Saves Live stickers, because even if you don't speak, you're showing support. But one of the better side effects of COVID is that now you can actually attend the committee hearings online and testify online.
A story that I like to bring up every once in a while, just some of the things that happen, because when you have that many people in the General Assembly, you have people every place. One of our folks was behind a couple of workers at the General Assembly, and one of them looks at the other and says, "What's with all the orange stickers today?" And the other one says, "Oh, that's the VCDL. They're the most powerful lobby in Richmond." They have effect, people.
They do.
Yep.
They absolutely do. We order 1 million of them at a time. We hand them out. They're all over the place.
And he's not kidding. Literally, when we exploded a couple of years ago, I normally ordered about 100,000, and I think I was at 80,000 when it started hitting through the roof. So I did a couple of orders, and at one point I called the printer and I said, "You're in a short spell right, or you're a slow spell right now." They said, "Yeah." I said, "You give me a ticket for half off, and I'll buy 500,000." And so they did, and I did, and it showed up, and the orders were coming in from out of state. And I said, well, if I'm going to supply them for the whole country, I need more. And I literally bought 1 million. FedEx showed up at the bottom of my very steep driveway with 2 pallets. It took me 1 day to get them in the garage and 1 day to get them in the basement. And I've got a lot of stickers. So get your orders in now, folks.
Yeah. And spread the word. We've got some flyers for Lobby Day that will be available. You can print them out and put them on bulletin boards, hand them to friends, take them to church, wherever. Get the word out there. Make sure people are aware. Hopefully here in Richmond, I'm hoping that some of the, like WRVA some of the talk show hosts will be letting people know over the air. Who knows, we may be running an ad or two, let people know. We're looking at various options.
Yep.
We're encouraging carpooling. We have a place on the website for carpooling. So if you're interested in that, you can go up there. We looked at buses. There just didn't seem to be a lot of interest in buses. And that's a lot of money for a bus. That's a lot. That's like, what is it, Pat, $8,000 or something per bus?
Yeah, easily. It depends on how far they go, but the bare minimum was $8,000.
Yeah, so it's a lot of money, and we try to be frugal, but we're not frugal to the point that we're not getting the job done, but we don't want to waste it either. So if people aren't interested in the bus, then carpooling is a great way to go. If you just want to drive on your own, that's fine.
Unlike some
Carpooling-
gun organizations, we don't spend all our money on Phillips wardrobe.
That's right. I don't have you guys buying my suits.
Yep.
But that's
So
another
there's a
thing about it.
website on the screen where you can go. You can find the link to the Lobby Day carpool. You can find information on the Lobby Day dinner. You can find out. We'll be putting on there who the speakers are going to be. The rally will be at the bell tower like we used to do at 11 o'clock, from 11 to 12. So get your lobbying done before 11 o'clock, or you can lobby after 12 o'clock if you want.
Yeah, and by the way, ideally, if you do come to Lobby Day, it's good to wear business casual if you can, to look professional, but you don't have to wear anything too elaborate. But business casual is a good way to go. Everybody on the other side, all the legislators are all going to be dressed business casual, and we need to look the part as well as possible. So keep that in mind. That also is a strong impression if you come. Somebody's asking about gun storage. We did cover that earlier.
Yeah, but you can go over it again because it's
Okay.
pretty important.
It is. Again, we all of us are in this organization and own guns. At least the people in VCDL own for one primary reason, and that's self-defense. We value our lives. We value the lives of our family, and we want to be able to protect them because you only get one life. You can replace a stolen automobile. You can't replace a stolen child. So we all like to carry. We like to carry wherever we go, but sometimes, unfortunately, we can't. So we have one of our members has stepped up and has put together is going to have and he's talked to the Capitol Police and Richmond Police a whole bit. He's going to have a truck there that has storage capabilities, bins, lots and lots of bins, hundreds of bins. And you'll be able to store your gun while you go into the General Assembly. When you come out, you'll be able to pick your gun up. There will be a place where you can unload your gun if it's loaded and then reload on your way out. But they will not take a loaded gun to check. You'll have to unload it before you go in. But you can hand them the bullets, you can hand them the magazine, that's all fine. They just want the gun cleared when it goes in. And when it comes out, then you can reload right there by the truck and then go about your business in Richmond. So he's going to charge a fee because this is a member doing this on his own. He's got to rent a truck. He's bought the bins. He's going to have two armed security guards there, making sure that those guns that are stored in there are secure. He's got a paperwork system all set up where there'll be 3 copies when you pre-register. You'll be able to pre-register online. I'll have a link for that in an alert. And that way, there you can pay there the $10 fee to store your gun. And when you show up, they'll give you your copy of the paperwork. They'll keep a copy in a file, and they'll have a copy with your gun when you put it in. So they'll have 3 places. And you will need to show your form and photo ID when you go to claim your gun. If you lose your form for some reason, they will be able to help you because they'll have their copy there. But you will need a photo ID because we obviously want to protect those guns. So I think that's cool. I told Brandon Howard is the member that's doing this. I told him I'll probably be your first customer. I said I wish you could be out there every day. Of course he can't, but he will be there Lobby Day. They'll be there early so you can get there, check your gun, do what you need to do, and then go get it again. So I think this is great. It's the best we can do given the environment that's going on in Richmond. But we can turn this around. For now, at least, it's a nice option. Somebody's asking about Oregon. What's happening? Oregon is sort of he's asking about that. There's a lot of gun control. They went ape. It's kind of like New York went ape. When they're told by the Supreme Court you can't do this, New York said, "Well, you want to watch this? I'm going to hold my beer. I'm going to do it anyhow." Well, it's not working for them because the courts are saying, "Sorry, you can pass these stupid laws, but we're going to strike them down." Oregon is in that mode. They made it so literally the gun stores there were looking at closing. All the gun stores in Oregon were looking at closing because they made it almost impossible for a gun store to be in business with all the requirements that they had. And so they've had a big rush on guns in Oregon. People are buying them up like mad because of a deadline coming up. And once they realized how bad their own law was, the state was sort of asking if they could suspend this whole system for a little while. So it's all in the courts. The courts are battling through this, but basically a lot of it is stays are being put on a whole lot of that law. And could it happen here? Well, it depends on how you vote in 2023. Keep in mind,
Yeah.
the entire General Assembly, the whole thing from top to bottom is up for grabs. The House and the Senate, every seat, all 140 are up for grabs. So,
And right now, this year, our issue is the Senate, because the Senate's a very tight margin, and not all the people that are on our side are on our side.
And
Right.
the
So
program,
the short answer is is there any chance of it happening here in Virginia? Look at 2020.
yeah,
I mean,
what happened there?
yeah. So yes, it can happen anywhere. We are only ever one election away from major gun control.
Yeah, and
And
that's true in most states actually. There's maybe a few right now that aren't under that same threat, but it can happen anywhere. It's like when I heard some people saying after the 2020 mess when all that gun control came in, well, I'm thinking of moving to another state. My advice was get an apartment, don't buy a house, because you're going to be moving a lot if we can't stop this. Here,
Yeah.
it'll be in Tennessee and Kentucky and Texas and Florida. It's just a matter of time. Well, the
it's
good
a
news is
domino effect.
Bruin has given us a tremendous tool to use, and we will use it. And they may pass. If they do pass some stuff, there's a good chance we can strike it down. But then again, I remind you need to be members, because going to court, I can tell you firsthand from what we've been doing. Unfortunately, it isn't unexpensive. It's an expensive procedure. Don't mind spending the money because it's for a good cause, our rights, but it is expensive. It's better if we can get this stuff struck down and don't have these bad laws in the first place, and not have to count upon the courts. I really don't like counting upon the courts to be a safety net. That's just
Well,
somehow
the courts are a crapshoot. When you walk into a court, depending on the judge you get, that can greatly influence the decision you get.
But we're in better shape than we have been probably in my lifetime. But that still isn't perfect shape. Believe me, they're trying like crazy to find any kind of loophole. They are going after things again, like trying to go after manufacturers, trying to make people have to have insurance. They're trying to find anything they can that they think will pass constitutional muster. And they're desperate. Anytime you got a desperate creature, you got to watch out for it. They can be dangerous.
Well, we know the founders required carry insurance.
Yeah, we know that was. Yeah, George Washington started a carry insurance firm, didn't he? If I remember correctly.
Washington Mutual.
Washington Mutual.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Christy Horton is saying that she expects a push for gun control this year. They've been pulling the emotional strings after the two attacks in Virginia here.
Yeah, that's all they've got is emotion. But I'll tell you what, don't ever underestimate emotion. In fact,
Right.
don't be afraid to show emotion yourself. I mean, that cuts both ways. I tell you, I get emotional when they start trying to take away my right and your rights, all the good people's rights to protect themselves. That hits an emotional curve to me, because it's life or death. This isn't a game we're playing. This isn't like Yahtzee or something. This is life and death. This is our freedom at stake. So let emotion get in, but that's what they use, and they're very good at it because that's all they got. But they are good at it, and some people are totally driven by emotion. If you can get to them emotionally, nothing else matters.
And you can use this to your advantage when you're testifying in committees, when you're talking to the senators and delegates. Hit those emotional heartstrings. Let them know how these laws have affected you in your life. If you all have a stalker or you have an abusive ex and you have kids that you need to protect, Talk about those things. Don't be afraid to.
Yeah, they need to hear that. They need to hear that there's real implications, because it's easy to say all these crazy gun nuts. You know, the true gun nuts is the gun control crowd that's always constantly looking for a way to come after guns. The rest of us would be perfectly happy if they would go away and stop doing that. We would be happy just to go about our lives and not have to worry about this. But,
And
Yeah.
the emotional aspect, it's funny what they'll hinge on. I went to a local meeting that was talking about doing some zoned gun-free zones, like residential areas where shooting was disallowed, because of course the county board of supervisors knows better than the gun owner how to contain their bullets. And so I stood up and said, look, for some reason Stafford has decided that I shouldn't be allowed to shoot because in my yard, because they know better than me. And we had a deer that got hurt and was doing donuts in the neighbor's yard. It got hurt jumping a fence, and we couldn't put it down because we couldn't discharge a gun until the cops got there. So after I told that story, when I left, a reporter came up to me and was not concerned anything about self-defense. She just wanted to know about the deer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, emotion drives.
Yeah, absolutely. So we need to deal with that, and we need to use it to our advantage, as Pat says. And I know some of you have had stalkers. Christy is mentioning one that she has there in the comment that she had. Yeah, I've talked to quite a few people that have had stalkers, dangerous exes.
Hey, Philip, I don't know if you remember, but I had a stalker and the police wouldn't believe me because I'm a guy, so I couldn't have one.
Yeah. No prejudice there. The man can't have a stalker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And stalkers can be very dangerous depending on the degree. So, point is, it doesn't matter.
This woman went into a gun store, was trying to buy a gun. She picked it up. She said, "My husband has my daughter. This will solve that."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not pretty.
No. So, and again, we talk about gun control. Oh, we got to keep guns out of the hands of criminals. Well, they're going to get guns. And so I don't care how they got the gun. I just want to have mine to protect me if they have one. That's the bottom line. Yeah.
Equalize the playing field.
Yep. Better than that, I train regularly. And I think a lot of you people out there watching this train at least somewhat regularly, hopefully. Criminals don't tend to do that. Training it's good to get out and practice at least once a month. I have to go every week, but that's just because I love shooting.
Oh, you got
Yep. So Rich B is asking, he says, this may have been asked prior, but with the new credit card designation for firearm purchases, should I make any future purchases cash only?
Pat, that's a good one for you to answer.
Well,
okay. So
my question to that would be, how would it matter?
yeah,
What are they
first
gonna
off,
do?
they don't. The gun stores, as a general rule, do not report what it is that you're buying, just that you're buying. And yes, you can pay cash. The gun stores love that because they don't have to pay the credit card fees. It saves them a little bit of money. And the credit cards, absolutely, they track everything you buy. They track what you buy at the grocery store. They track what you buy at Walmart. But if you buy a gun at Walmart, how do they know if you bought a gun or groceries?
Yeah, I think it's the issue is they know that you bought something at Walmart. They don't know exactly what you bought at Walmart. But
and it may be classified as sporting goods in the code, the item code, but it's not classified as a gun. If you go to Academy Sports, they don't know if you bought a $1,000 set of golf clubs or a $1,000 gun or a $1,000 trolling motor. They don't know. They just know it's sporting goods.
Hey,
so, yes.
Have you thought about getting a couple of footballs, putting them on the wall, and renaming it Gadsden Sporting Goods?
Well, I sell all kinds of stuff, including pot. So
yeah,
ceramic pots. That's
yeah. Clarify.
Yeah,
I can hear the state police knocking on your door already.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
So
I
the answer,
jokingly say I'm a pot dealer and a gun runner because I have I'm a ceramic artist and I sell my ceramics and I sell guns. So
yeah. So the bottom line is, I don't think there's any advantage to paying cash. They, in the sense that they just know that you went to a store that sells guns. That's all they know. They don't know anything any deeper than that. So this is really much to do about making the gun control crowd feel like something's being done. And they're usually dumb enough to fall for all this stuff. It happens over and over again where they yell, "Oh, look what we've done," and we're sitting over there yawning because in reality they've done nothing or done very little. This is another example. But still, I don't like the idea that they're even trying to target this stuff. If that's the intent, is somehow to figure out something, whatever they can, about where you're going and what you're purchasing. Um,
Maybe we
so,
should push somehow to opt that we can opt out of the credit cards, doing that detailed analysis and just saying that, under a privacy act and see if we could push it the other way somehow.
maybe, yeah,
yeah,
just
I mean,
want to protect it.
this is really nothing new. If you look at your credit card statements at the end of the year, they typically will give you analysis on how much you spent on gas, how much you spent on groceries, which anything that you buy at a grocery store, they call it groceries, how much you spent in restaurants, and so on and so forth. They categorize that for you, especially if you have a business card, they do this. So they track that sort of thing and have tracked that sort of thing for decades.
Yeah, they can't
So,
tell you that he had a filet mignon at that restaurant. They can just say you went to a restaurant and you
right,
spent $50.
right. But as a general rule, my um, I do have a credit card that I use because it gives me cash back. I pay the bill off every month, and generally I don't live on credit because I don't believe in credit. But that's me. So again, I'll say the gun stores love it when you pay cash because they don't have to pay that 3% transaction fee to the credit card companies. So if you don't want to support the credit card companies and whether they're tracking your purchases or not, you're still supporting them. And if they're anti-gun and you don't want to support them, pay cash.
Now, somebody's pointing out to 42 Chill, we need to vote with our wallet so credit card companies stop that
Hmm.
BS. Well, yeah, you can do that. You can say, okay, I'm going to use credit cards less
Hmm.
because they're tracking me. But again, it's if they
Yeah.
were at the point
So
of actually knowing it was a gun purchase, I would be all over that comment, saying, yeah.
So you can get an Academy Sports card and use that, and they give you a percentage back on every purchase that you make in their store.
Sure.
That's a no-brainer, and they support guns because they sell
Yeah. Yeah. If Winchester hadn't repealed their ban on guns around a permitted event, there was a gun store that had to put up a no gun sign.
them. Hmm.
Um, so
Yeah,
yeah, it can get crazy out there.
yeah. Silly laws create silly situations.
All right. So what else have we got? It's getting late. I want to keep everybody up. Um,
Yeah, we're running on an hour and 15 minutes here, so I don't have anything else on my list. Bruce, do you have anything?
Just one thing. One of the alert items for those of you that haven't had a chance to keep up on all your alerts is for some of our larger members. We are trying to get a shirt order together that exceeds our normal stock. We go up to 3XL in the gear section of the website, but we're trying to get 4X, 5X, and some talls as well. So check your VA alert if you're interested in that. We can also do. We're also looking at doing personalization with your name on it if you want that for an extra fee as well. And other than that, that's about it.
okay. Yeah.
Oh,
You want?
flyers, lobby day flyers. We're looking at getting a lobby day flyer done. We're collecting names now. If you want some flyers, take a look at the alert because there's a list of information that's required. Name, address, phone number, how many flyers you want, stuff like that. And we've got somebody collecting that information. We'll send it to the printer. We will drop ship it as I forget what the dates are off the top of my head, but we'll get it out there probably toward the end of this month or the very first part of January. So we're only going to have a couple of weeks to get these things floating around. So get on it if you want flyers to distribute at your local gun stores, at your churches. Same place you would do the VCDL University, you can do the lobby day flyers as well.
Yeah, and I just thought about this too. If you live in an area where the mail, like some of these planned communities, where the mailbox has a little slot where you can put flyers and stuff, you could put flyers in your neighborhood in that little slot. You can't put them in the mailbox, but
Right.
if they have a little place to put newspapers
Community
or
announcements.
community announcements, or you can put on bulletin
Yeah,
boards.
bulletin boards. Pretty much every grocery store has a bulletin board in it. You can hang the flyers up there. Talk to your friends and your neighbors and so forth about Lobby Day and about VCDL-U. If you're in the Richmond area and you can make the meeting on Wednesday, the 21st, it's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with lunch provided. So you can join us there for the meeting
Yeah, if you
and
got any kids in college
check
or
it
youth
out.
students.
Yeah. If you know anybody that wants to sponsor VCDL-U, check out the website, vcdl.org/VCDL-U. So, Bruce, did you want to say anything about Adopt a Store? Or anything like that?
Well, we do have for a number of years we've had an adopt a store plan. We don't advertise it that much. We don't have it listed any place, but basically, if you find a store that was willing to host VCDL materials, then what you can do is you can send an email to adopt.a.store@vcdl.org. We will call you, we being me, we'll call you and figure out what materials you want. We'll get you brochure holders, brochures, carry cards, and if it's a gun store, we can get you a few other things as well. Whatever it takes to get the word out. So if you're interested in that, all we ask is that you go and visit the brochure holder at least for the first week or two or for the first month or two every week. And then after that, you can adjust time accordingly just to make sure that it's well stocked, clean, and in a good location for getting out materials. And we'll do that as well. So
Gun stores are a perfect place to take your flyers to. So if you got a local gun store for the lobby day flyer, let's get them there.
yes,
They'll post it in a prominent position because that's gun owners coming in there constantly. They need to know about lobby day. You'll be amazed how many people will have absolutely no idea of the whole concept.
if you go to a gun show and you're working a gun show table and you say, "Do you know who we are?" and there's a lot of people that don't, or they think we're the NRA. So the same goes for a gun store. And ask your gun store, ask the people that work in your gun stores that you go to, are they members? I think you'll be shocked to find out the number of people that work in gun stores that are not a member of any gun rights organization.
Yep. And one last thing I want to mention, since we're on the subject of stores and stuff, VCDL does have a VCDL discount page. Let me kill this spam here real quick.
No,
So, yeah. So VCDL does have a VCDL discount page, and we're changing the way we do it. It will be an annual membership for $50. The ad will run for 1 year during the term of that membership, and we'll put the company's logo and the discount offer on the discount page, and we'll also have a image scroller going across our homepage on the website that will show the logo of the company also.
Banner
So,
ads.
What's that?
Banner ads.
yes.
Banner ads, yeah. Yep. So there will be a VA alert coming out about that on how to sign up for that as well. That's all I have for real this time.
One in a
Yeah.
row.
Yep, we'll have an alert coming out this week again. But expect the alerts to come out hot and heavy starting when the General Assembly starts. Be checking your
Yep.
email daily, if not more frequently than that. For action items, be on the lookout for titles, especially if you see the subject line that says legislative action item. That should grab your attention and move right to the top of your agenda, because that's usually something we need you to do now. You can't
Yes.
wait a week or 2 weeks to do it. It's a now kind of thing. And
One
that
of
way
my-
you know what's going on.
One of my favorite items was an alert item that came out. I think Mike was working on the floor and actually sent out an alert that basically said that, call your representative now because this is going to the floor for a vote in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So we haven't had one of those in a while, but it has happened in the past,
Yes, it
and it could
is.
very well happen again.
Yeah, sometimes we get very short notice on things, so there's a lot of balls in the air at the same time with the legislative session. You got things in the House, things in the Senate, on the floor, in committees, and we're tracking all that. Just watch your alerts.
A quick note on why to get involved. Many years ago, they asked somebody down in Richmond who was very politically astute, said how many, and this was prior to email, but so letters, how many letters do you have to get to know that it's a hot button item, that this is a big issue with people? And the legislative member thought for a minute, and his answer was, take a guess, 10. That's all it took. So your email is very important. Your phone calls are very important. You either cut off the people that are antis, or you give the pro gunners more of a spine to stand up. So they are very important. We need you at Lobby Day, and we need you to do the follow-up with the action items that come out in the alerts. Very important.
Yeah.
They absolutely
Yeah, so-
need emails to decide what the temperature is on any given item.
Yes.
Doesn't take
Right.
many to set the temperature.
Yeah, so I've had a similar conversation with, I think it was a delegate, and they said that if they got about 15 emails on a subject, they took notice. If they got about 10 letters on an email, they took notice. They took even more notice. If they got about 5 or 6 phone calls on a subject, they really took notice. But if they got a visit in person from just one person on a subject, then that really showed that it was an important issue to them.
And
So
lobby day
show
is
up
where they
for
get
lobby
out.
day. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Start making appointments now with your senators and delegates and be at lobby day.
All right. So we'll get an alert out. Keep your eyes open. We got a lot of things going in there. It'll be coming out either Monday or Tuesday, depending on my schedule.
We need to make one of those commercials like the child out in Africa that needs food donations with you, Philip. And have that go out and see if we can drum up some more support for Lobby Day that way.
Yep.
You
All
show
right,
me.
folks.
All
Have
right.
a good night. We'll
night.
see you next
Thank you.
month.
Thanks
We'll
for
see
coming,
you at
everybody.
lobby day.
Oh, and we have a meeting coming up in Loudon on Thursday.
Is it this Thursday? What is it?
Yes.
Third Thursday,
Yes,
right?
our in-person meeting is
Yep.
Thursday at
15.
XCal shooting range at 7 o'clock,
Yep.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. 8 to
Eight.
9.
8 o'clock
If
at
you want to
XCal
show
shooting
up
range
early.
in Sterling. Yes. And watch the BA alert. It'll be coming out Monday with the XCal shooting range in there.
Yeah, it should. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So watch for the VA alert. And we hope to see you there. Good night,
Good night.
everyone.
Toodles.